Okay, so let's go back to fruit. We covered vegetables. You're all clear on vegetables. Don't just only eat salads. You've got to balance it out with cooked greens. That's very important. Okay, so fruits. So as we were talking earlier, it's better to eat fruits in the whole form because of the fiber, and then it becomes a slower acting sugar so that you don't get hungry after an hour or two or you don't crash. It's more sustained energy when you eat the whole fruit. Okay, and if you don't want to eat bananas, you can eat kiwis for potassium, fresh pineapple for potassium, prunes or dried fruit like dried apricots are great source of potassium. So lots of really good other potassium sources. Because potassium helps maintain energy within the cells of your muscles and nerves, but it also minimizes injury and prevents muscle cramping too. So that's why that's really, really important. All right? And also you'll be much less likely to get sore if you have adequate potassium levels. So that really makes a huge difference. So if we move on from fruit, and then let's talk about hydration. Equally important is to make sure you're properly hydrated. And when we talk about hydration, it's not just the 8 glasses for everybody, because all of you are different sizes, different builds. So what we recommend is half your body weight in ounces. That's your water requirement for the day. Okay, so let's say if you weigh 150 pounds, okay, so half of that is 75 pounds, so your fluid intake for the day should be 75 ounces. Okay, now that includes water, it includes soup, it includes your juice. Okay, it does not include coffee because coffee has the opposite effect. It's dehydrating, so you don't get, it's not proper hydration.
These herbal teas count?
Herbal teas, yeah, herbal teas, whether hot or iced, definitely count. So that's good.
We have coconut water at one of our places, and a lot of us have been drinking it because we heard that it has more electrolytes than water.
That's
so
true.
it's gonna be more.
Yeah, coconut water is a very good source of electrolytes, but avoid coconut milk because it's too high fat. Okay, so as long as you're aware of the difference, and some people might get confused with that.
Okay.
Okay, so it has to be coconut water, not coconut milk.
And actually, I also like something about how chocolate milk is considered good for you at like post-workout to dehydrate you.
Yeah, because actually cocoa is very rich in magnesium.
But then I was reading the label and it had high fructose corn syrup, so that seems like kind of fun.
Okay, that would be contradictory. That means it's not the right form of the chocolate milk. You have to get a different one. Right, exactly. That's important. Yeah, you really want to avoid anything with high fructose corn syrup because that it also disrupts hormones and it also tends to make your blood sugars dip so you get hypoglycemia. So that's very important to avoid anything with high fructose corn syrup.
Just because I'm kind of confused about the whole like soy thing. Like how she said like chocolate milk is good after a workout. Where they have chocolate soy milk at the hub, is that the same thing or is that just a different?
Well, it's the cocoa. It depends on how much cocoa is in the soy milk. It's the adding the cocoa to the milk that is what helps with the minerals.
So if it has high fructose corn syrup,
Then
it's
yeah,
not
avoid
great.
it. Exactly. Good. That's the most important thing.
This is about fruits. Are dried fruits okay? Because like I've heard that they're just really sugary sometimes. So
As long as they don't have added sugar to them, that's what you're looking for. So they should be unsweetened dried fruits. And actually the advantage of doing, for some people, dried fruit is that it's a more concentrated source of sugar. And there's a lot of fiber in dried fruit. So actually it can be beneficial. But I would balance it out with a little bit of nuts, like almonds.
so like those mix it.
Exactly. Do it like make your own trail mix. That'll be better. So that way you're not just getting straight sugar into your system. You're balancing it out with a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein. So that helps.
Dried cranberries are covered in sugar. They're
Yeah.
the one that are, because if you ate a real dried cranberry, it would be so bitter you wouldn't be able to eat it.
That's
So
right.
that's the one, if you eat handfuls, it's like eating candy. It's great. I mean, you can have them when you want, when you need them, but that's the one dried fruit that,
Yeah, you have to be careful with
confusing.
it. It is, exactly.
yeah, it seems so.
It seems so hard. I know you said not to have like soy milk or something. Well, I heard that it was good to have like a little bit of soy milk a day. Like obviously not to like
Not a huge amount, that's what I mean, but if it's a
But,
little bit, it's
yeah.
okay, exactly. But not to do like 3 or 4 glasses of soy milk a day, unlike the milk, right, exactly. That's good.
And in terms of dried fruit,
Right.
most labels have like unsulfured or sulfured.
Go
On
for
the-
unsulfured.
Unsulfured?
Yes, definitely. Because sulfuring of dried fruits is a preservative.
Okay.
Yeah. And those of you who've had asthma as kids or anything like that, it will get you back to wheezing. It's one of the worst things for the lungs. If you buy dry fruit that says sulfur, when you buy apricots that are bright orange, that means they've been sprayed, they've been sulfur. And that's really bad for the lungs. Yeah, and especially again, as dancers, you need to be able to breathe as easily as possible, so that's very important for breathing. So avoid anything that's sulfur, that's really, really important, very, very important. Definitely. Okay, so let's cover fats. We haven't talked about fats. Okay, so we talked about a little about omega-3s, but we also need olive oil. We need monounsaturated fats. So olive oil is one of the healthiest types of fat for us to consume. Just make sure that it's the extra virgin olive oil, not extra light. Okay, because that's been too processed, so that's very important. Okay, so even on salads or even on your steamed vegetables, always add a little bit of olive oil to that. That helps you absorb the nutrition
You
better.
said make sure it's extra virgin.
Yes, definitely.
Wait, what is differentiates like extra virgin olive
There's
oil?
also light olive oil. You don't want light. Yeah. Or just pure olive oil. Like, don't be fooled by marketing things like pure olive oil. That doesn't tell you anything. You're looking for extra virgin olive oil. Okay, that's important. And never buy olive oil in a clear plastic or clear glass. It has to be in a dark colored glass bottle. Because it's very sensitive to light. Okay, the light will make it more likely to turn rancid. Okay, so that's very important.
And you don't keep that refrigerated, do you?
Yes, you do. Good. It's better to keep olive oil. It will harden, but then you can use a knife or a spoon to spoon out what you need, and then that's it. But it really preserves it much better. Okay, good. Very good. All right, great. Is everybody clear on that? And then it's always better to use real butter than it is to use margarine, right? All of you know that or something? Okay. Right? And then even better is to use whipped butter that comes in the tub, not butter in the stick form. Okay? So that's even better.
Why is that?
Because they whipped the butter. So, okay, so there's less fat in the butter. Yeah. So in the whipping process, it makes the butter lighter, so you don't have as much fat. So that's why you want to get, and definitely get organic butter, not butter that's non-organic, because of the hormones and the antibiotics that are used to make butter.